So, ang topic natin ngayong araw ay the sum and the product of the roots of quadratic equation. Siyempre, bago natin simulan yan, magde-derive muna tayo ng formula kung ano ba ang formula ni sum at kung anong formula ni product ng roots of quadratic equation. So, ang formula ni sum at product ay manggagaling kay quadratic formula. So, ano ba yung quadratic formula natin? X equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times 8 times c all over 2a. So, paghihiwalayin lang natin si plus minus. So, si x sub 1, siya yung magiging una natin. Negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4 times 8 times c all over 2a. Siya na yung magiging x sub 1 natin, yung plus. Next, x sub 2 is equal to negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times 8 times c all over 2a. So, sum muna tayo. Derive muna natin yung formula ni sum. So, sabi natin, pag sinabing sum, pagpa-plus lang natin, x sub 1 plus x sub 2. So, kailangan nating i-plus si x sub 1 tsaka si x sub 2 para makuha natin yung formula ni sum of the roots. So, si x sub 1 ay negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a plus negative b, si x sub 2 naman tayo, minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times 8 times c all over 2a. Since parehas ang kanilang denominator, co-combine like terms natin. So, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to, same lang po sila ng denominator, kaya copy lang po yung denominator. Negative b plus negative b, negative 2b. Then, positive square root of b squared minus 4ac plus negative square root of b squared minus 4ac cancel. So, ibig sabihin, natira na lang si negative 2b over 2a. So, pwede natin i-remove si positive, si 2. So, ang magiging formula ni sum of the roots, x sub 1 plus x sub 2, ay negative b over a. So, yan po yung formula ni sum of the roots. Sunod po, product po tayo. So, product po tayo. So, x sub 1 multiply by x sub 2. So, ang ating x sub 1 ay negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4 times 8 times c all over 2a times negative b minus naman square root of b squared minus 4 times 8 times c all over 2a. Okay, so multiply natin. So, x sub 1 is equal to x sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to negative b times negative b, positive b squared. Positive b squared. And then, so, kapag sinolve natin to para mapadali na tayo sa pagdi-derive, cancel na lang natin to. Positive times negative, negative. Negative b squared minus 4ac. Para madali na lang tayo. Derivation lang naman eh. Basta multiply nyo lang to, ito pa rin ang lalabas. Over 4a squared. So, x sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to b squared Negative times positive, negative b squared. Negative times negative, positive 4ac. All over 4a squared. So, we will have cancel. Kasi b squared minus b squared cancel. Matitira si 4ac over 4a squared. So, therefore, x sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to cancel, cancel, cancel isang a, may natirang isang a. So, c over a. So, ito po yung formula for product roots. Ito naman ang formula for sum of roots. Okay, so nalaman na natin yung formula ni sum of roots tsaka ni product of roots. So, pag sinabi natin sum of roots, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to negative b over a. That is for sum of roots. Pagdating naman kay product, x sub 1 times x sub 2 equals c over a. That is product of roots. Okay, bigay tayo ng example number 1. Okay, example number 1, find the sum and the product of the roots x squared. Example 1 tayo. X squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. Sabi dyan, find the sum and the product of the roots of the equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. So, unang gagawin natin, hanapin yung value ni A, which is 1, value ni B, negative 8, value ni C, positive 15. So, madali na natin mahanap yung sum and product kapag meron na tayong value ni A, B, and C. So, sa sum, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 equals negative b over a. Anong value ni b? Negative 8. So, negative times negative 8 over value ni c, which is 1. So, therefore, negative times negative, positive 8 over 1. So, in other words, the sum of roots of the quadratic equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0 is positive 8. So, ito yung kanyang sum of roots. Yan yung tinatawag nating sum of roots ni quadratic equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. Okay, punta naman tayo kay product. Pag sinabi nating product, x sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to c over a. Anong value ni c? 15. Value ni a? 1. So, meaning to say, the product of the roots of quadratic equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0 is x sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to positive 15. Okay, check natin kung tama yung product tsaka sum natin. Check natin kung tama yung sum and product natin. Siyempre, how to check? Yung given natin x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. Quadratic equation. Since ang quadratic equation natin can be factor, para mas madali, gamitin natin yung factoring, using factoring. So, x, anong dalawang factor na kapag minultiply, sagot positive 15, kapag inad, negative 8. So, ang factor niya ay negative 3, tsaka negative 5. Kasi x times x, x squared. Negative 3x plus negative 5x, negative 8x. Negative 3 times negative 5, positive 15. So, equate natin to 0 para makuha natin yung roots. So, x minus 3 is equal to 0. X minus 5 is equal to 0. Use ape to get the roots. X minus 3 plus 3. Kasi negative yan, kaya plus 3 is equal to 0 plus 3. Cancel. X is equal to 3. Next, ape again. X minus 5 plus 5 is equal to 0 plus 5. Cancel. So, x is equal to positive 5. Sabi dyan, pag minultiply daw natin yung dalawang roots, ayun daw yung product. Kapag pinag-plus daw natin, yun daw yung sum. Try nga natin. X sub 1, ito yung magiging x sub 1 natin, ito yung magiging x sub 2 natin. X sub 1 plus x sub 2. X sub 1 is 3. X sub 2 is 5. So, 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. Tama po ba yung sum natin? Next, product tayo. X sub 1 times x sub 2. Value ng x sub 1 is 3 times value ng x sub 2, 5. 3 times 5, 15. Tama po ba nakuha natin? So, yan po yung pag-check natin para mapabali po tayo. Okay, example number 2 tayo. Example number 2. So, given x squared plus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So, find the sum and the product of the roots of quadratic equation. Given the quadratic equation, x squared plus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. First is get the value of a, which is 1. Value of b, 4. C is 3. Sum muna tayo. X sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to negative b over a. So, what is the value of b? Which is 4. So, copy negative over 1 yung a. So, therefore, negative 4 divided by 1 is negative 4. Ito na po yung sum of roots natin. Next one, product tayo. X sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to c over a. What is the value of c? 3. What is the value of a? 1. So, x sub 1 times x sub 2, 3 divided by 1 is 3. So, ito na po yung product natin. Sum, product. Okay, next, example number 2. 3, I mean. Given natin 6x squared plus 12x minus 18 is equal to 0. So, find the sum and product of the roots given the quadratic equation 6x squared plus 12x minus 18 is equal to 0. So, get the value of a, get the value of b, and c is negative 18. Okay, same procedure. X sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to negative b over a. The value of b is positive 12 since in our formula b is negative, so copy negative over a is 6. So x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to negative divided by positive is negative. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So this is our sum of roots. Next, product. X sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to c over a. So, c is negative 18, a is positive 6. X sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to negative time divided by positive negative. 18 divided by 6 is equal to 3. So, ito yung ating product of roots. So, dyan po nagtatapos. So, paki-subscribe po para po sa mga bagong video lesson na i-upload ko. Salamat po.